Hello again and welcome back. I hope you are enjoying our series, and today is episode 6 of the Diary of an Endodontist. So stay with me today because we'll be talking about untreated canals. This patient was referred to us. He had a root canal treatment done. It was to the correct length, but you could see lots of spaces. Probably it was a single cone with lateral condensation, as we can see few probably accessory GP points. The periradicular lesion was off-centered, and I could see that there was something over here. The dentist suspected of an untreated canal because of the configuration, and he started the retreatment, but he struggled halfway through and couldn't reach the length correctly. When we took the CBCT, I could clearly see the root filling that we saw initially, and that he was going in a different direction and had fractured a file over here. We then started over again, removed the fractured instrument, and found that canal. And the reason why he was struggling as well was because the canal was curving in that direction here. What you can see is that every time you are disinfecting a tooth, you need to disinfect both canal. You can't just retreat one. You need to retreat both of them. It's important for you to enlarge a little bit in this area to visualize the second canal. If you use magnification, that is much better because then you can see. But if you can't see, my advice to you would be go to the untreated canal first, because once you are there, as you can see here, they join halfway on the canal, so it is mid-root. Sometimes if you wear loops, for example, even if it's a 4.8 or 5 loops, you won't be able to see deep further into the root. And even with a microscope, depending if the root curves, depending how dark that root is inside, you may not be able to see it. So my advice would be try to negotiate the untreated canal first. And in this case, you can see that the curvature was about 90 degrees and quite at the very end. So pre-bending your file and starting with a very thin file, perhaps a 6, if the 10 is not going inside and very loose into the canal. You can try an 8. I would jump into a 6 straight away. 6 is a bit tricky because if you force the file, it distorts quite a lot. So make sure you are doing clockwise, anti-clockwise, which is the balanced force, and pre-bend your file so you can really feel that canal. Go crown down first because you need to start enlarging a little bit. Careful not to block the canals, because if you block the canals, you will never get to that end. So first of all, disinfect up to this level. And then from that part onwards, I would go for size 6, pre-bending and doing balanced force. Once you get to the length that all the files that you put inside will do up to a 10, of course, so 6, 8, and 10, will do at that point patency. Make sure you do patency. What is patency? Patency is when you have the working length plus 1. And the reason you do patency is because you don't want to unblock that part. So make sure that it's always unblocked. Once you do that, you start advancing into your rotary system. Careful not to do too much, because otherwise you may end up fracturing your file. We'll be talking about a bit more about how to do the rotary systems in curved canals when we are doing the topic curved canals. But going back, you can see the lateral canal over here and the sealer going that way. So it's quite complex in this area. So make sure you disinfect it properly. We'll be talking about disinfection as well in another episode. Once the root canal treatment is finished, the disinfection, then you are ready to obturate, and you can use warm vertical condensation or the single cone, which is a lot easier. Once it's all disinfected, obturated, it's time to do the coronal seal and monitor that case. You want to see healing. So I did a 1-year review. You can see that was obturated with bioceramic. It didn't dissolve at all. It's very stable. And you can see already healing in this area. We also did a 5 years review. And now you can see the lamina dura all the way around this tooth again. So make sure you disinfect it properly. Make sure you don't block those canals in the apical third, because that is where the complexity of your treatment is, and you need to disinfect it properly. Once you do that, you'll be able to see lateral canals. So I hope you have enjoyed this case, and stay tuned because we'll be talking about other topics. By the way, if you have any case that you want me to discuss, any topic, it can be in restorative, just put in the link over, put in the comments over there. I'll see you next time. Take care.